So one way to look at awakening is that it's a natural process. This is a natural movement of the human organism to grow into wholeness. And what we're doing in a sitting is cooperating with that natural process. And the way we cooperate with it is to allow ourselves to notice what's true in the moment. And if we're not particularly embodied people, it may take a while to practice noticing sensations. Oh, there's actually a body here somewhere. And what are the emotional qualities? What are the sensational qualities? And then also, mind is also an energetic flow that comes through our system.
So we're sort of cooperating with the natural organic process of awakening here. Like, what's arising for me in the moment? It's not important to have a story prepared or a thing you really want to talk about. Certainly something might be up for you naturally and organically, but as you come into that field of transmission, the sharing is an opportunity to kind of green light or really embrace that and allow it to come forward however it is in that moment. So you're bringing full awareness to what's happening. So you're speaking it from that place of awareness. And we'll often say to a student, speak from that rather than about that. And that gives you the opportunity to really create a little distance, but feeling in so that you're actually allowing it to arise in a sort of natural and organic way. And this simultaneous seeing and being strengthens the connection between consciousness and embodiment, right? So we're seeing it and we're being it at the same time.
Why we do this in groups is we kind of give each other permission to be as we are. And by seeing myself reflected in other people, I can relax in the way that I'm constricted around places in myself. And that relaxing around constriction makes more space available to notice my wholeness.
And that's what we're doing in Mutuality. We're showing up in our full being and allowing the other to come forward. And then amazing things happen because your own parts that might be wounded or constricted can get touched and enlightened by listening to and holding someone else. So it's a mutual catalyzation process that takes place.
We invite people to listen with their whole being, their body, their emotion, mind, and infinite beingness. So occupying your fullness as you listen and just resting in that fullness as you listen.
All of us have a deep need to be seen, to be heard, to be felt for who we are, whether that's explicit or implicit. We have that need, we want that, and this work provides that for us in tremendous abundance, and I think it's part of the great attraction of it. And then as that happens, and as we find that we can be who we are with ourselves, but with others, it starts to release a tremendous amount of energy and attention to being okay, to be acceptable. Like as that dissipates, that energy is released into the awakening process and into the flow of consciousness.
There's two big differences. One is transmission. So the teachers and mentors and other participants who are in their whole being realization are actually inoculating the field, and that transmission, that backdrop of awakened being is highly catalytic. So that's different from a therapy group. And then the intention and the context is different. So often in the therapy group, the intention is to fix or cope or manage or, get better skills or get over it. Here, the intention is to support the whole being realization process. The intention is to awaken. The context of the emotional experience is always in the context of the awakening process itself. So it's not a therapy group, it's an awakening group, and it's a subtle but really critical difference.
When we're in a group sharing, there's no crosstalk, so it's not conversational. It's a sacred circle, and each person has their time. They may ask a question of a teacher or engage a teacher, and that's fine. The teacher may offer reflection to the individual, and that's also that's also acceptable. Or if the person doesn't want reflection, that's okay too. That's cool too.
As teachers, we might, after someone has a share, offer a perspective. So from a Trillium perspective, we would call that experience such and such and such. So we might offer some understanding, some context. We might offer a suggestion for a practice, but none of it is a requirement or an attempt to fix. It's up to the student, up to you, to take whatever the teacher says with a grain of salt. It's really trusting what's right for you in the moment. And so the teachers might offer a little bit of feedback, but in general, we're just cooperating with an organic process that has its own intelligence and needs actually very little intervention. And then confidentiality. So before we go into sharing, just want to make sure everybody's on the same page, that whatever is shared here is kept here. And so, you can leave the sitting and say, hey, I had this great experience, and what arose for me was such and such, but not name names and not give any identifying characteristics or any kind of details about the other people that were in the group.